All right. Good evening, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Amplify, expanding your voice with multimedia. We are so excited that you are here. I am Natasha Brown Watson. I am the CEO and publisher at ELOHAI International Publishing and Media. And what we do at ELOHAI International is that we partner with visionary faith leaders to share their mission centered stories. And what is so interesting, guys, is that we are in phase two. We are in the second dimension of this company because the Lord gave us this company. Gave me this company in 2018, and he said that it would be publishing and media and mission. And we've been focused on the publishing. Many of you know us for publishing books, for coaching authors, and we do that and we love that. But we've also have a mandate to push people forward in the area of media and to really help people share their stories through multimedia. So tonight we are kicking off our 3-day virtual event. It's called Amplify. And so we're going to be talking about multimedia. What does that look like today? And how can you really make the most of the media outlets that are out there, the media avenues that are out there? So I'm going to be bringing in one of our team members at ELOHAI International. We've been blessed with some really brilliant people and just some creative minds. And so one of our team members, her name is Kiera, and she's going to be joining us. And she is our creative media director. She is the one who basically produces the podcast that we put out. She does a lot with audio, with video, with graphics, and she helps us bring everything together. And she works really well with our authors and helping our authors share their stories and amplify their stories using multimedia. So all week we're going to be picking Kiera's brain. She's going to be sharing more about what she does with ELOHAI International and also how she works with the authors. And she's going to be giving some practical tips that you can put into place starting now. So be sure that you are sticking around. Make sure that you're sharing this broadcast, guys. Let us know you're here. Share it with your friends. Drop a line. And we want to make sure that we are interacting tonight and all week. All right. So without further ado, I'm going to bring in Kiera. Hello. All right, we're going to unmute your mic. There you go.
I was trying to be quiet as you were introducing the wonderful program that we have in store for tonight. Hello, everyone. Hello, Natasha. Hello. I'm so excited about Amplify Day 1.
Yes. Okay. So, Key, tell us, what do you do as the creative media director? Because to some, that might sound like a really long title, right? But what does that mean?
Okay, so as the creative media director of ELOHAI International Publishing and Media, I help our storytellers creatively get their story out, get their brand out on the digital platforms that we provide. So that can be podcasts, that can be audiobooks, social media, YouTube. So we're going to get in all that tonight, but that's pretty much what I do for ELOHAI.
Yes. And so day one is about the evolution of storytelling. And so I just want to kind of share, storytelling has been around, guys, since the beginning of time. Back in the cave days, storytelling was used, and what they used to do was draw and kind of sketch. I guess that's what we would call it today. And as time progressed, storytelling became oral. And so many people in many cultures around the world, they still have oral storytelling traditions. Fast forward, the written word was introduced, right? And then media was introduced, radio, television, and now we're in the age of social media. And now what we get to do in our day and age is kind of put all of those different elements of storytelling together to maximize our voices. So Kiera, why don't you just kind of take it away? Just kind of start whatever's on your heart that you want to share with everyone for our day one of Amplify. And you guys, FYI, if you're just dropping in, you're tuned into day one of Amplify, and you can always visit us online at ELOHAI International ELOHAIINTL.com/schedule. And if you want to connect with Kiera one-on-one to learn how we can help you amplify your voice, you can schedule a creative media discovery meeting with us, and you'll be able to meet Kiera. You'll be able to tell her all about what you're building so that she can give you just some wise advice, right? And some additional one-on-one assistance. So go ahead, Kiera.
Yeah, and you know what I find very interesting is storytelling started off as audio. Like we're hearing the stories. It wasn't written at first, and we can kind of say we've come full circle, right? Because podcasts and audiobooks, now people want to listen to your story being told. So, like Natasha has been saying, welcome to Amplify. We are expanding your voice with multimedia. So I'm sure everybody has a story. Everybody has a testimony. Everybody has something to share. And some of us have a mandate on our lives. It is imperative that we share our testimony. What we go through is not just for us. It's not just for us. I know when we're going through the less fun things, it is less than fun. We could say that. But once we make it on the other side of that, the Lord wants us to share our testimony. It's somebody who was about to go through what you went through already, or in the thick of what you made it out of. And just by hearing your story, just by hearing your voice, just by hearing the wisdom, which is literally just the applied knowledge of what you've learned from that experience, them hearing that from you can really help them get through it. So I'm here. Natasha's here. ELOHAI is here to help you, give you practical tips, like Natasha said, give you practical tips on how to go ahead and get your story out starting tonight, starting today. Okay, so we need your story. We need your story. I've said that. I don't know how many times I can say that. I'm going to say it again just so that you get it. We need your story. So we're going to go through the emerging digital platforms in which are, the newest things on today, but they've either been around for some time or you're not really familiar with it. We're going to go through social media. We're going to go through audiobooks, podcasts, all of that good stuff. So let's go ahead and jump in. And also, I do want to remind us, well, really not remind us, but really stress the point that Amplify is not really about how to make 150,000 followers. I mean, quantity is great. We all like numbers. Numbers is a good thing. But here, for this 3-day virtual event, we're going to focus on how to present your story well and how to get that story in front of the people that are purposed for your story. We are all assigned to a people. There are people assigned to us. There are people assigned to our voice, people assigned to our stories. So the Bible says to seek first his kingdom and the righteousness, and all those things will be added unto you. So first we're going to get into what the Lord wants you to share, what is purpose for us to share. And that I believe that once we get in that pocket of our story and our brand, the people that are assigned to your story and your voice will come and attract to that. And your people may be 100, it may be 100,000, it may be 1,000,000. Praise the Lord if it's 1,000,000. But we want to get your followers engaged. We want to get your audience engaged. That Amplify is really about impact, because you can have 350,000 followers, but if only 100 of those are engaged, then what's the point? But if you have 200 followers and 199 of those are engaged, I call that success. So let's go ahead and get into some of the platforms that are emerging today and that we can maximize on those platforms. So starting with social media. And if you have been paying attention, well, maybe not, but day 2, tomorrow, we'll be diving more into social media and how to get into hashtags and all that good stuff. But starting tonight, what you can do in the morning when you wake up. So I have good news and bad news about social media. I have good news and bad news. And usually people say, okay, I'll take the bad news first. So I'm going to give you the bad news first. Social media is literally accessible to everybody. It's a crowded space. Okay. Are you ready for the great news about social media? Okay. The great news about social media is it's literally accessible to everybody. Everybody is literally at your fingertips. Your message, your story is only a click away from getting in front of the millions of followers, millions of people that are on social media. Alrighty, so here are 3 ways to effectively position your story on social media, whether you have a story already written out or you have a story kind of you're brainstorming on something. This is how you can get your story effectively on social media. So number one, you want to be authentically you. You want to be authentically you. So we already said that social media is a crowded space. Everybody's up there trying to be somebody, whether they're called to or not. That's none of our business. But the only way to stand out in the sea of everybody doing something is to be authentically you. You have to be you. There's nobody like you. The Lord designed you uniquely. And he's so creative that he made nobody else with the same fingerprint as you. So you want to be, number one, authentically you. You want to present as you first on social media. Don't try to be like anybody else. Number two, on how to effectively present your story, position your story for social media. You want to present quality images and quality graphics only. All right. Can I keep it real with y'all? I think I can. So we don't want to show up on social media raggedy. We don't want to do it. We don't want to look raggedy. We want to present with our best foot forward. So that is images that look well, that present well, graphics that are clear, they're not blurry. Natasha, did you have anything to add to that? Okay. We don't want to show up icky because our message can be a great message. The Lord can place something on our heart, wisdom, advice, knowledge for the masses that can bless people. But if it's not presented well, then people will look past that. We want to present that great message in great packaging and good, clear pictures with good lighting and good graphics that are, I don't know, produced by ELOHAI can make sure that you present in the best way possible. And number three, for the three ways that you can,
Sorry. You talk fast like me. Okay. So I wanted to just pause for a moment and just kind of reflect on what Kiara mentioned, you all. So number one, she said, be authentically you. And some people might be like, well, how do I do that? And, you know, sometimes we don't know what we're supposed to be putting out there, right? You don't know, like, how to present your best self, how to do it. And that's when you really get advice. You really get coaching, and also you do what feels natural to you. There's always somebody for an audience. There's always somebody for a message, I should say. There are over 7 billion people in the world. And so if you have experience in something, you like something, like whether it's like however you're going to show up, whether you're using social media for business or for pleasure, pleasure or a lifestyle or a combination of both. And right now, what's really successful, what's really good, and we're going to get into social media more tomorrow, but what's really good is kind of using all of it, like showing all of it, not holding back. And yes, you might have a business page and a personal page, but even with your personal page, people want to get a look into your business. So how do you show up authentically you in these different spaces in multimedia? Think about that. And that's something that we can definitely talk about more later. But go ahead, Kiara. And then number two, we're just recapping, present quality images and graphics. So all the time, something that happens, Kiara, is that we get authors who have designed their own book covers, and it may look good. Like I designed my first book cover, you all, and then I showed it to my friend who was a graphic designer, and she's like, no, Natasha, no, let me do it over. And sometimes we think stuff looks good, right? But a professional with a design eye who's been trained or even self-taught or has taken workshops, they know the elements of design and the different rules for spacing and things like that. They will help you do it better. And so amplify it and expand it and elevate it. So don't always do something on your own, especially if you're not trained in that. Okay, keep going.
Okay. So number three, for the three ways that you can effectively present your story on social media, you want to be concise in your messaging. Okay, so people on social media, they have an attention span like that. Just as quick as I just snap my fingers, they're already scrolling past your message. So you want to get them as soon as you open your mouth. Social media is not the platform for long form storytelling. social media, you want to maximize social media, social media to push those people from your social media to wherever you want to push them. So where you're telling your story in length and in depth. So number 3, I'll say it again. Be concise in your messaging. Be concise. And if you look up, if you look up concise, and Natasha's gonna jump in. If you look it up in the dictionary, it's to explain everything that you have to say, but briefly. There is a way to do that. So if you are telling your story podcast or on YouTube, push them there with concise messaging.
I love that. And the reason why I jumped in, not to add to, but I have a question for you. Well, what do you say when people, a lot of people do long form storytelling on social media, and a lot of times those posts do get engagement. Is that still considered short form or concise, even if it's like a long, like, caption, or is it, is that too long, or what are the instances of when you should go long story versus shorter caption?
So I would say always use discernment. But if your imaging is captivating enough, that's when I would say, yeah, go ahead and go longer in your caption, because maybe what people see, I want to know more. What's going on down there? What's going on in this video? What are they talking about in this reel? Let me read some more. And if you're going to do a long caption, get them with the first 1 or 2 sentences. Ask a question. Are you this or that? Yes, I am. So I'm going to keep reading. So that's when I'll say, when longer captions are more suitable to, once you have grabbed the audience with your imaging already, and you want to get them with the first or second sentence.
Yeah, and I think that's really great advice, Kiara. And the other thing I would say is a lot of times for coaches, we have a lot of coaches in our audience, and authors, coaches, and things like that. And so you can also, a lot of times people will use longer forms on social media when they're selling, they're selling like a class or a coaching program. And so, but it has to be intentional. It can't just be long for no reason. It literally you have to be giving your audience something that will keep them reading, as Kiara mentioned.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Exactly that. And we recently had a potential client, and I'm pretty sure she's going to be a client. She needed help with her caption writing. She said, listen, I want you guys to help me with caption writing, because that is an art. That's like creative writing. It's an art. You want to keep people on their toes and keep them reading. And who better than ELOHAI Publishing, International Publishing and Media. Okay, so that's it for social media, and we're going to get more practical tomorrow, so make sure you come back for day 2. Now we're going to move on to podcasts. Natasha has a podcast, Suddenly Marriage. Hopefully you are listening to that. It's about her story, with her husband, her new husband. She's still a newlywed, Ray J. Watson, and how they found love and got married in a relatively short time. And I say short because there is no short or long when it comes to God's timing. I have a podcast, and I speak about just going through life as a millennial, coming from a millennial, relatable point of view. You may have a story. And so the podcast platform is more for the long form storytelling. So you want to use your social media to push people to your podcast. Now, with the growth of podcasts, you hear people say everybody has a microphone, and that may be true. But let me tell you something: what's for you, can't nobody stop what's for you. I don't care who has a microphone, how many people has a podcast like yours. Like I said, there's nobody like you. So we're going to get into 3 ways again to effectively position your story for podcasts. So if you have a traditional story already, like a book, and you want to get that on podcasts, sure. If you don't have a written story yet, you, like I said, have just a story in your mind, these can help you as well. So number 1 on how to effectively present your story on podcasts. You want to make sure your story is easy to follow. So we're listening. Somebody is listening to your story. They're listening for it. And you want to be authentic, but you want to really map out your story to make sure that people can follow it. You don't want to be out of chronological order. And also when it comes to your episodes or comes to your seasons, you want to really map out that thing to make sure that it's making sense and that it's easy to follow. You don't want to say, oh, but wait, okay, so let's go back. Okay, but hold on. Between that and That can be confusing, and that won't make people log on and listen the next week. Okay, so that's number one. Make sure your story is easy to follow on podcasts. Number two on the 3 ways to effectively position your story on podcasts is you want to tell your story like a conversation. You want to be conversational on your podcast. Now, that is the difference. I would say, in my personal opinion, that is the difference between long form storytelling via podcast and long form storytelling via audiobooks, which we will get into that later. The difference between those two is podcasts are conversational. Even if you are the only host on your podcast, I know some podcasts have 2 to 3 hosts, and some people say, oh my goodness, having my own podcast by myself is so intimidating. Is it really? No, you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. You want to have a conversation with your potential listener. Converse with them. Ask them, isn't that right, girl? Go have a conversation with them. And then number 3, you want to present well. Again, presentation is everything. Just like you would present on social media, you want to present well on podcasts as well. Do you have the right microphone? Does the audio sound a little crazy? If the audio does not sound right, then a person like me, I'm turning you off in the first 10 seconds, like, eh. And again, that loses listeners or people who are assigned to your story. So you want to make sure that you sound of quality. You want to get an affordable quality mic, and we make sure our storytellers, we give them links to those mics that are like $25 to $30 at the most.
And I want to say, y'all, I've been doing audio stuff for a long time. And I'm one of those people where I'm just like, okay, the Lord gave me an idea. Let me not procrastinate. Let's do it. And so I thought in my mind, like, that the podcast sounded fine without audio, without a microphone. Like, I really was like, oh, it sounds good. But when Sierra came on board, she was like, girl, you need a microphone. And I was like, girl, it sounds really good to me. But again, if we don't know, we don't know. We don't know what we don't know, right? And so, I see, and hear the podcast coaches always saying, make sure you got a mic and don't do it without a mic, right? But I was like, well, it sounds good to me. We're pretty close and the door's closed and ain't no cars honking in the background. And so I thought it was okay. And so I think it's important to know what the industry standards are, and then you can use that to present well. I had to learn my lesson, and all of us do in some way, shape, or form, right? So good advice, good tips.
Yes, because you know what? Podcasts, like I said, there are a lot of people on podcasts. We have to kind of stand apart and be up there with the people who have 1 million followers. Just because you have 2 to 3 followers doesn't mean that you can't present just as well as them. So we can move on to YouTube now. YouTube, another emerging. YouTube has been around for a while, but it's still doing very well. People are getting paid from YouTube. Please know they're getting paid very well. Full-time YouTube content creators. So with YouTube, I'm giving you 2 ways to effectively present your story on YouTube. And a great way, if you're thinking like, what can I put on YouTube? You can record yourself when you're making your podcast episodes. You can record yourself recording that podcast episode while you're recording your episode, look into the camera. And it's really that simple. It's really that easy. Okay, so number 1, we want to present well. Can you guess where we're going with this for the entire Amplify Day 1? Present well. Presentation is everything. So is your camera of quality? Is your camera of quality? We don't want to look blurry. We want to wipe off our camera to make sure it's not greasy. If you're anything like me, I live a greasy life. I love shea butter. Sometimes I have to wipe my camera off because I got some shea butter on my camera. Okay. And then you want to make sure that you're recording yourself in a good lighted area. Is it quiet around where you are? All of that works. All of that matters. Your background. What does your background look like? Is it distracting? Is it busy? Is it messy? Sometimes people don't think about those little things, which are very, very important. People can't even listen to what you're talking about because they're looking at what's going on in the background. Is your cat jumping all over the place? I mean, yeah, we got to get that together. Fortunately though, a simple iPhone, the latest iPhone camera can do wonders for doing videos. I do my YouTube videos with my iPhone 12, I think it is, and it looks great. So if you have an iPhone or the latest Samsung phone, your camera should suffice. Number two, for how to present your story on YouTube, you want to make sure your story is easy to find. So on YouTube, people are searching for videos. Sometimes, you know, you have your casual YouTube onlooker in which they're kind of browsing through videos. But for busy people, I know for me, I just go to YouTube to search for the particular thing that I'm looking for. You want to make sure that those keywords are in your title, and you want to make sure those keywords are in your tags when you go to upload your video on YouTube. There is an option for you to have tags. So even if a tag is related to what you're talking about and you're not necessarily hitting on that thing, still go ahead and tag that thing, girl or man of God, because people that are looking for something else can stumble upon, I wasn't looking for that at first, but I'm looking for it now. So you definitely want to make your story easy to find on YouTube. Natasha, you have anything to add, or I'd love to hear your input.
Yeah, I would say I think the tagging is so big, and YouTube, sometimes the audience will literally come out of nowhere. Like it will, like, and the great thing about YouTube is I want to encourage you all to really start using YouTube, and the videos that you're using posting on other platforms, like the shorter YouTube is an evergreen platform, and evergreen means that it can last and it will be there and it won't go away. People can go and look at the content or read the content later. Whereas Instagram and Facebook, they're feed based, Twitter feed based, right? And so when you post good content on Instagram, the next day is going to go down your feed when you repost something else, or when other people start posting there, it's forgotten. And so begin to take your video off of Instagram and off of Facebook and even TikTok and repurpose it to YouTube. I did that. So many of you know I was a missionary in Tanzania for a while in 2019 and 2020. And while I was there, God really showed me that I was on a storytelling mission in addition to the real mission. And right, part of it was about storytelling. And so I did a lot of videos and I would post them in my Instagram TV. And so I would take some of them and post them on YouTube. And just recently, within the last month, there's one video that I posted on YouTube. And in the last month, you all, it has gone from 1,000 views to almost 6,000 views and 100 and something comments. Wow. It's literally trending. And I don't know if someone found it and then reposted it, because, you know, with YouTube videos, you can embed those videos on websites. So I'm pretty sure that somebody has found that video and embedded it, because it's people from all over the world commenting. And it's about a Muslim, a former Muslim, is someone who Islam faith, converting to Christianity. And that video has gotten so much views 2 years later. So I would say don't discount YouTube. Don't forget about it. Don't leave it out, because one, you can make money. And once you get to a certain view count, you can earn income off of YouTube. But also it's a way for people someplace else to find your message and to really for you to amplify your voice. I know that was a lot, but
no, that was really good. And also making YouTube videos first, or on video hosting platforms. From there, you can actually repurpose that long form video to reels or to videos. That's what we do here at ELOHAI. When you see, if you follow this Suddenly Marriage page, you will see that we take little snippets from those YouTube or video hosting platform videos, and we make them 60 seconds or something like that and put it on our Instagram. So yes, YouTube is great. All right, so last but not least, we're going to get into audiobooks. So audiobooks are the new hot thing. Okay, so people are busy. You're busy. I'm busy. And again, thank you so much for tuning in on tonight to amplify your story. Because I know that you are busy. So people don't really have the time to curl up with a good book like they would like to. And no worries. So the new thing with that is coming up with audiobooks. They want to be read the story. They want to be told the story as they're doing their daily tasks. And, because by the time you sit down and read a book, you might be falling asleep. Okay. So Fortunately, that is a market for you to tell your story. I said earlier when we were talking about podcasts, the difference between those two, I believe, in my humble opinion, is that podcasts are conversational. Audiobooks, you're literally reading the story. Just like somebody, like your mom would read you a bedtime story when you were younger, or you read your kids a bed, you're reading your story. So number one, how to effectively position your story for audiobooks. Number one, you want to have a well-written book first. Now, this is not a prerequisite written anywhere. If you go to get your audiobook produced, they won't say, well, where's your written book? Is it published? No, they won't say that. But it will only make sense, right? If you're going to read your story, that means you're going to have to type it out. That means you're going to have to map it out. So whatever you type out and map out, go ahead and get it published. Go ahead and call us, email us at ELOHAI International Publishing and Media to get your book out, get it published, and then we can go ahead and get an audiobook form, because it really doesn't, I feel like there's opportunities and, let's be clear, money and resources left on the table if you were just to skip the part of getting your hard copy book published and getting the audiobook. And also, people still read. People still read. So we don't want to leave anybody out in our audience. There are different people assigned to our voices, and you might have readers that want to hear that story.
Yeah, I want to piggyback because she said have a well-written book. That means your book needs to have been edited, guys. And so many times we try to put the cart before the horse, but you do want to make sure that your book is in its final form before you record the audiobook, because again, you might think your book is amazing and you want to just go ahead and put it all out at the same time, but you need to get your book in the hands of an editor, have it proofread, have it done, so that you're not recording stuff in your audio book that will end up getting cut or rewritten in a better way once a wordsmith gets their hands on your book. So again, make sure that it's edited before you record. And we do offer audiobook services now. It's a new service of ours as we have rolled out our media division. So keep going, Kier.
Okay, so number two on how to effectively position your story with audiobooks on the audiobook platform, you want to make sure, just like podcasts, that your mic is top notch. But I would say it's a little bit more important that you record your audiobook with a really good mic more than podcasts. And I say that because the conversational aspect of podcasts can kind of give you a little bit of leeway on the it being informal. But with your audiobooks, you're a lot more formal. It's a book. You want to present the book very well. So I would even say, go ahead and invest in getting into a studio, getting into a recording studio. Usually they're not that much money. You want even going to like a podcast room. It's a lot of those now. Podcast recording studios in which you know that it will be quiet. You know that the quality will be top notch, and you can have it delivered to you digitally on like a USB or something like that. So I would say either get a top notch quality microphone in a very quiet area, or go ahead and invest in getting into that studio in your local market. And then number three, you want to get it published internationally. What's the point of having a great audiobook? It sounds great. You went ahead and spend that money to get into the recording studio, and you're just sitting on it, or it's just on your website. No, just like a regular hard copy book, you definitely want to have it published internationally. And to your fortunately, I guess is what I'm trying to say, we offer that here at ELOHAI International. Like Natasha says, it is a new service. So honestly, you would just record it. We would get it produced, make sure that it sounds right, get it on the platforms that it needs to be on, get it published internationally. And so that's it for the platforms. But I do want to let you know that everything that I have shared with you today, ELOHAI International Publishing and Media can help you with all of it. All of it. We help you with podcast production. We can help you with getting your social media graphics looking great, your audio book great, your hard copy book Great. So like Natasha said at the beginning of this, of our day one, you can go ahead and schedule a creative media discovery meeting with me. Natasha will sit in as well. So we can really hear what you want to say, hear your story. We ask you a lot of questions about what you're thinking for your story. How do you want to get that story out there? And we would come up with this strategy curated specifically for you. We have packages, but we really make sure that we curate those packages personally for our clients. So thank you guys for watching. Natasha, wasn't this a great time?
Yes, it was. It was. I was looking for the make sure that I get the information about day 2 correct.
Yes.
I know you have day 2. So you all, this is a 3-day virtual event. We're going to be teaching for the next 2 days. And so if you missed any of tonight, you can go back and watch this replay. But you also want to be sure that you're registered, right? So go to our website, ELOHAIINTL.com, and register so that you can get a reminder, y'all, and that we can keep you in the loop. We're going to have some special offers for those who are registered at the end of the week. So you want to make sure you're registered. Okay, so Kiara, what are we going to be talking about tomorrow?
Tomorrow, we're launching into social media. I know that's where most people want to be. I get it. So we'll be talking about the impact of social media and how we can utilize that platform. So we're getting really into the algorithms, the hashtags, the what times you should post, all of that good stuff. And I do believe that sometimes when you're called to social media, some of those things don't apply to you, but the Lord gives us wisdom for a reason. So we definitely want to take advantage of that information that we have available to us.
Yes, yes. Well, thank you, Kiara. This is great.
Thank you, Natasha. Thank you, everybody, for watching.
All right. Okay, guys. So again, you have been tuned into Amplify Day 1, expanding your voice with multimedia. I don't know if we gave you the definition of multimedia, but that is just when you use several different aspects. So you can use audio, visual, text, different aspects, animation of media, putting them all together to make a product, a presentation, right? To present your story. And so we're super excited to be sharing this information with you all week. You have heard from Kiara, who is our creative media director. She's doing amazing things at ELOHAI International, producing podcasts, creating audio, visual, videos, all types of things. And so we're super excited to introduce Kiara to you this week, as well as just share some information with you. So again, visit us online, ELOHAIINTL.com. Make sure you're registered for this event. It's called Amplify. It's on our homepage. But the other thing I want you to do, if any of this stuff today has gotten your wheels spinning, if you are interested in moving forward, you need help with the podcast, you need help with social media, you need help with amplifying your voice, and even getting your book out there through other means, through other avenues other than just your book, because marketing is the biggest part of writing and publishing a book, right? So if that is you, anything you've heard tonight kind of piqued your interest, go to our website, click on schedule. You can schedule a creative media discovery meeting, and you'll meet with Kiara and maybe myself as well, and we'll be able to help you out. All right. So we'll see you tomorrow. We'll be back at 5:30 Central time, 5:30 Central, 6:30 Eastern for day 2 of Amplify, expanding your voice with multimedia. So I hope y'all have enjoyed tonight, and we'll see you tomorrow. All right now. Bye-bye.